Hi class. I just realized a lot of my screen was cropped out, but I wanted to go over some of the things that you didn't see. So first was essentially when we first dragged in this dome. So let's redo that. We dragged in the dome, and it's going to put it depending on where your cursor is, and it could just be really off, right? Something like that. In order to reset it, in the details section over here, right here, details. Right here, the arrow's right here to reset to default. Get it back to it's 000, right? And then another thing that was really important was the scene can sometimes get very cluttered, and really the best ways is to actually instead of dragging and drop your material. So we have your material for the skybox. Instead of dragging and drop to the scene, there's a material slot that's also in the details section, and we can just drag it right there. So that's just a more accurate way of going about it. And also, I want to show you these building cards, right? You saw it in the Maya, but in the Photoshop file, this was cropped off. But it's, you know, in a production, I would just fill the rest of this with, buildings to as much as I can uh, take advantage of the space. And of course, I would just save out the alpha along with it. And another thing was about the double-sided, right? You might have missed or that some of that information might have been cropped out. So let's go back to, so if we brought in this building right here. So in this building material, right over here, is set to two-sided, but on default, if I apply this, default it's actually one-sided, right? Looks like, so sometimes you drop something in, you put a material and it looks invisible. You just have to make sure this two-sided is checked on. And there they are. Let's grab the, here's our building, this guy, that guy, and everything is two-sided. And last but not least, I actually wanted to add something extra to this learning experience, which was, this comes with atmospheric fog, which is needed, but also sometimes you want some like ground fog that goes from the ground up. So you can see a lot of these hard edges here. And it can be cumbersome to just rely on these translucent fog cards that we made to fill it up, and that's actually not the most efficient way of doing it. A good way is using exponential height fog, so let me clear this out. So over here, you can search, just say fog, and you only have two types of fog, atmospheric and exponential. So you can drag and drop into the scene, reset it, like that. And of course we gotta change the light color of the fog and its value. Something like this is really moody. You see this a lot in games, and it's using like a ground fog. Just want just a tiny bit of color. Something like that's actually pretty good right about there. That looks like it's influenced by the sun. Okay, so there's our exponential height fog, but you notice that there's this little blown out area. That's called the direct fog component. So direct fog is if pretend the sunlight was over there. Um, Sometimes you get that glow, right? That hits the fog. That's what that's doing right there. And you can adjust the color on that as well. So right here we have just the ink in scattering color, which is the main color, and right over here, the directional scattering. Right. So this type of exponential height fog is really dependent on you setting up the correct light source in the scene. So you can see how when I rotate this, right, it's dependent on where this light or this sun is at. So ideally you want to be able to place this sun where the sun is in the scene. So something like that, right? Makes more sense. So now you can see how the direct fog scattering works. Okay, that's it. Thank you.